I don't know how you can have children and grandchildren these days and be a leftist. What you're doing to them. I just don't know how. Do you hate our country so much? Do you hate the society? That's the other thing that's very annoying, isn't it? We conservatives, we argue with liberals. What do you mean we hate the country? We love it. We just hate capitalism. We ignore the Constitution. The founders were slaveholders. We don't like the cops, the military. Well, we love the country. We love it. Oh, how so? This fundamental transformation. That's for other countries. That's not for our country. What are you saying? I'm not patriotic? Well, I do say you're not patriotic, but others, well, no, I'm not saying it. Of course not. Well, what is patriotism? How can you be patriotic and favor the fundamental transformation of the greatest society on the face of the earth? But I'm patriotic just as much as you are. No, you're not. You support something else. Something you can't even define. You cannot support fundamental transformation and vote for that. That is fundamental transformation. Transformation of our society, of our economy, of our law. And tell me that you love the country. How can you love the country when you define the country by its traditions, its institutions, by its founders, by its economic system? I love it, but I want to fundamentally transform it. What do you mean? How can you love it and fundamentally transform it? You can't. You love an image, something you're creating in your own head. And you wish to drag the rest of us into it, and we don't want it. We resist it. Go back to Dominic. Go ahead, Dominic.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to clarify something before you try to pigeonhole me into something that I'm not. I was born and raised in America, and I love this country. This is all I know. But I've been blessed enough to be able to visit other countries here in the last 10 to 15 years, and I've come away with great experiences and memories of these places.
So what does that have to do with anything?
What makes America so much better than Fiji?
Well, which countries have you visited? Now, sir, if you're going to keep talking over me, one great thing that happens in this country is I'm going to get rid of you.
Well,
what countries have you visited, Dominic?
I've been to Mexico, Canada, I've been to the Bahamas, I've been to Fiji, I've been to, that's about it, really.
Let me ask you something. Have you been to Eastern Europe?
No, sir, I haven't.
Let me ask you something else. Have you ever been to Nicaragua?
No, sir, but I'd like to.
Have you been to Grenada or Grenada?
No, sir, I haven't, but I don't understand.
Well, you'll understand in a minute.
Okay.
Well, let me be specific. Have you ever been to Germany?
No, sir, but a lot of my family has in there.
I'm not asking about really your family. I'm talking to you.
Well,
have you ever been to Russia?
Pretty nice,
Have you ever been to Russia?
No, sir, I haven't.
You ever been to France? Pal. Have you ever been to France?
No, sir.
You ever been to Japan?
No, sir, I haven't.
Okay, well, let me educate you. You've been to a lot of very lovely places. Fiji, the Bahamas, you went to Mexico. In other words, you've been on vacation, pretty much.
Yes.
Let me explain something to you. Japan, Germany. You ever been to Italy?
No, sir, would love to go.
Good. Well, you'd love to go now because we fought a war and defeated the fascist regime that ran Italy. We fought a war, and pal, this is the problem I have with people. Particularly people who call me and question what I said. And when I try to respond, you can't wait to jump in. What were you going to say?
I was asking how long ago that was. I mean, is that the same Italy as it is today?
That may be a little over half a century. Why? Is that too fast for you?
Well, not just on
let me explain something to you. Some of our ancestors fought in these wars. We saved the Western world, the Western way of life, by defeating Hitler and Mussolini and Tojo and destroying the Soviet Union and fighting and supporting freedom fighters in Latin America. Maybe you didn't see that when you were in Fiji and in the Bahamas and in Mexico and so forth. Maybe you haven't seen a lot of that. Maybe when you see what happens with Mother Nature in parts of the world with tsunamis and earthquakes and everything, who sends the United States military there? Not to conquer, but to feed people, whether it's Haiti and so forth. Have you noticed any of that, sir?
I know the history of it.
Well, I'm telling you why you live in the greatest country of the world, you big dummy. I didn't say it's a perfect country. It's the greatest country. And if you don't get it, maybe you ought to do a little bit more traveling. But rather to go to the little vacation sites, maybe you ought to go to Germany and look at Dachau. Maybe you ought to go to Italy and look at the mountains where we lost Yanks up and down those mountains. Maybe you ought to go to Okinawa and take a little peek, you big dummy. Now to quote Governor Chris Christie, get the hell off the beach. Chris, that's the only time I'll ever quote you, by the way. Those words are immortal. Get the hell off the beach. Don't you think, Mr. Producer? Not bad. I'll remember those words. But he couldn't wait. He wanted to interrupt me endlessly. I went to Fiji. Gee willikers. I went to the Bahamas. I've been to Bahamas. Great. I love the Bahamas. What do they produce? I don't know. When you're looking to defend liberty, the first country that comes to my mind is the Bahamas. I have nothing against the Bahamas. I know you can hear me out there. Just relax. If the Bahamas are threatened, we come to their defense. But this is the problem, folks. You have people living in the lap of liberty. And are such a magnificent history. We are such a powerful country. And despite what Ron Paul says, and despite what the left says, we're not going around conquering countries. Marxism, communism, the source of misery and murder and barbarism like the modern world has never seen. That was given birth in Europe, not in America. Fascism. Completely alien to America. And I can go on and on. How about yesterday? What was done to Gaddafi? I hold no brief for that barbarian, and that's exactly what he was. But if American soldiers had fought their way to that sewer pipe, if some of them had died and been severely injured fighting their way to that sewer pipe, they wouldn't have molested him and tortured him and shot him in the back of the head the way that those rebels did. Don't tell me we're not the greatest country on the face of the earth. There are other great countries. There is no country like this one. I can't think of another time, maybe somebody else can, in human history where a nation so powerful has used its power for good. And I have this jerk telling me he's been to Fiji, the Bahamas, Mexico, and Canada. And I love Canada. Many, many friends in Canada. I love HGTV. Most of that's produced in Canada. Canada Free Press, one of the greatest news outlets that exist. But all that aside, I'm saying visits Canada, where he hasn't visited are all the hellholes all over the world. Awful lot of people who've come to this country illegally who obviously think it's a pretty damn good country. But we have too many people who are born here, and they're born here stupid. And so when you hear somebody like that, no wonder they don't defend the Constitution. They don't give a damn. I'm underwater. Somebody owes me. Get the banks. Kill the rich. Do the this. Do the that. And this is where it comes from. No sense of connection with our past. None. And Obama knows it. And these people are susceptible to his kind of demagoguery, as they have been throughout history. The ignorant and the foolish. The superficial. Freddie, Las Vegas, Nevada. Great Sirius satellite, home of one of my favorite shows, The Pawn Stars, my man Rick. Go ahead.
Hey, Mark, I just wanted to make a comment to that last caller. Having a father who was in the military, we were stationed in Europe for about 16 years. Germany, England, Greece, Italy, Turkey. Lived in Japan for 2 years. And they're great places to visit, but if you live there, you see a completely different world of what those type people are, what those governments impose on those people, and it's not a lot of fun, especially if you get sick.
Well, he's been to Fiji, my friend. He's a world traveler, and then he hopped over to the Bahamas. Then he came back, he visited Mexico, and then he hopped over to Canada. So he's seen the world.
Not through the eyes that I've seen it, and it's definitely different than what every time we came back to the States, we just realized how appreciative we were of what we have here. You know, and people don't realize this, but we're slowly going the way of Europe, and it's really sad.
And by the way, not the good parts of Europe either.
Correct, absolutely.
All right, my friend, take care. And by the way, I harbor no ill will toward Japan or Germany or so forth. What I'm saying is, if you're in this country, you're born in this country, and you enjoy the freedoms of this country, fought for not by you, that caller, but by somebody else's brother and sister, somebody else's father and mother, somebody else's grandfather and so forth, then you are benefiting from something you had almost nothing to do with. And yet, you're so quick to say, oh, by whose standards? By whose standards is this the greatest country in the world? Well, by the standards of people who could get here, flee here if they could. And by the way, that's throughout American history. Throughout American history. No, we're not a perfect country because we're not a perfect people because no people are perfect, but we're the most perfect in the sense that we try to right our wrongs. We try to correct our injustices. Sometimes it's too slow. Sometimes it's not enough. That's the nature of man, period. But take a look at history. Good Lord. Absolutely we're at the top of that pyramid, the very, very tip. Matt, Chicago, Illinois. It says here you're 18 years old. How are you?
I am. And I just wanted to tell people out there why the country is great. The country is great because we had founding fathers establish principles that allow this country to turn hard work and a little bit of intelligence into something big. And that something big is called earned success. Earned success is going to make you happy. Now, if you're going to inherit $1 billion, you might not be happy with yourself. Why? Because you didn't earn it. Now, the thing is, and this is a truly sad part of our society.
Wait a minute. I might be happy with myself.
No. The truly sad part of our society is that we measure success in money. So we have these liberals out there who are attacking those who create earned success from hard work, and it truly destroys the founding principles that the country was founded on. It truly does, because it's basically saying, I'm going to control how much you make, and I don't care how hard you work. And basically you have to create a police state to do that, don't you? Yes, you do, because then, you got to make your constituents happy, you know? It's all about getting elected, too.
All right, my friend, listen. I want you to call again. You're a very, very intelligent young man. I got to go to a break, but I want you to call again. I really like the way you express yourself. Thank you.